let's begin. There is this town of around, let's say, 8,000 people live over there. And she have a Gemma. She is 20 years old. She just graduated college and she's about to move in with her boyfriend whom she plans to marry soon. And Gemma grew up in a two-parent household. Both parents attend church. She also used to attend church when she was younger. She had no bad boys in her past or anything like that, so just a common, well-behaved girl. One day, she goes missing, and 5 days later, her body is found. Horrified. When the news reporters came, everyone was talking about her. She was just a good girl. She was always full with joy, this and that. People are crying. Then she's buried, and the police has to do their investigation. The forensic anthropologists already did their work, so they buried the body. And while the police conducts their investigation, life goes on. People process what happened and they move on. The police at the time were not able to solve the case, so it became a cold case. 10 years later, a detective suddenly got an anonymous tip of a guy that hinted towards a conflict in the community that may be involved with, that conflict may be related to the death of Gemma. And this detective never heard of Gemma. So this detective decides, you know what, let me look into this cold case. And when he looked into the cold case, as a detective is allowed to do that, he realized that, hold on a minute, this investigation was carried out very poorly. Why was this investigation carried out so poorly? So the detective informs his superiors, and they go to the court of law, and the judge gives permission to reopen the case. So the case reopened. 10 years have passed. Many of the peers of Gemma back then are now all married. They have children of their own. Her grandparents passed away. Some people moved out of town, so relationships changed. Some of the some of the people Gemma knew that were pregnant. Their children are now 10 years old, and some are already getting divorced. So a lot of things changed in 10 years. So the detective now who had the cold case had a lot of work to do. Had to track down all those people to talk to them again. While tracking down all those people, he noticed one odd thing. All those people left that town within 6 months after Gemma's body was discovered. They all left town. Suddenly, there were even 3 people that stopped their studies just because they wanted to get out of town. And then the detective is thinking, okay, this is a very weird pattern. I get an anonymous tip that there was some type of conflict in the community, and I see now that after this woman's body was found, within 6 months, most of those people just left town. Why did they all leave town like that? So the cold case detectives managed to speak to some of those people and realized immediately that nobody wants to talk about the period before this woman was killed. Now, what is the detective's job now? He knows that there is a pattern, that people avoid the subject. He knows that there is an oddity, everyone left town. And the anonymous scholar even mentioned there was a conflict. So, 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So you do the math. Okay, a young woman with no bad reputation was murdered. Body found. A lot of her peers leave town. Okay, that means they all knew something. They were all expecting something bad to happen after her body was found. That's why they all left town. So this woman here was a subject of, or the object, you better said, of a controversy. So you as a detective, okay, so there was a controversy. What was the controversy actually? Then you check the background of of Gemma's parents and the background of her then boyfriend that she tended to marry. and realized this boyfriend had an uncle who was involved in some weird cult. And this weird cult also had um, stake in the local economy. Oh, and now everything makes sense. So this boyfriend of hers wanted to get ahead in life, so he had to bring a blood sacrifice. So he intended to sacrifice that young woman. That's why he befriended her, and that's why he rushed into a relationship with her, even wanting to marry soon. That's why he even rushed into let's go live together. And she was not aware of the abnormal speed that everything was going. Look, relationships can develop very rapidly. There's nothing wrong with that. But the context needs to be checked. If you meet someone today and supernaturally things work out very quickly with that individual, that can happen if it's God's will. But God will never rush things on you if you're not ready for it. He prepares you and conditions you to relate well to what He's about to give you. When Satan, quote unquote, gives you something, he kicks you into it, and once you're in it, you think, oh, there's no way back, so better just deal with it. That's how Satan does it. And after you're not aware, you're kicked into it. You don't feel the kick, you just end up somewhere. You think, oh, this must be a destiny because it just happened. So this boyfriend wanted to bring a blood sacrifice, and he did bring the blood sacrifice. But for some reason, uh, the charm did not work properly. So all the people who were aware that this woman was about to be sacrificed but kept their mouth shut, they were now afraid that the failed sacrifice would backfire on them because they were all part of it. They kept their mouth shut, so they allowed it to happen, so they were all guilty of the murder. So all of them left town because they didn't want to be haunted by the paranormal side effects. Because it didn't end up that some people did their studies over there and they were just about to graduate, but they quit their studies just they wanted to move out of town. Who quits their studies when you're about to graduate? And there was no reason for them to leave town. So now it was then that the detective realized what's going on. He figured it out. How did he figure it out? He looked at the bigger picture. He wasn't distracted by the details. If he would have been distracted by the details, he would have lost his mind or he would have become confused. When you look at the bigger picture, you look at the context, you can get things quicker. Now the detective understood why the police investigation was carried out so poorly. Because likely there were some police officers behind the scenes who were also part of this satanic cult. They were also aware of it. So, what I just gave you was a parable. But such things happen daily out there. That people are set up by a group and they're not even really being set up. And often the people that set them up are the people that they consider friends, acquaintances, or family. Am I saying that every family member and every friend or every acquaintance is going to sell you out? No. Am I saying that every initiative from other people towards you is a setup? No. Don't live in this dark mentality that everyone's out there to get you or everyone's out there to abuse you. No, not everyone is. Even some vile predators would come after you because they're so occupied with fleeing from consequence. But okay. So not everyone out there is there to get you. Okay? But just pay attention. Whenever something unfolds around you, look at the context. There's this movie, no, it's a series on Netflix. It's a series of like I believe it's 8 episodes. And it's about a group of teenagers that couldn't stand an Indian girl that was around them. So they sacrificed her, they killed her, and they all went on with life. It was at a summer camp and they all went on. Well, that's what they thought. After 5 years, The sacrifice they brought, the charm expired. So now they all catched up with it, and they don't want to deal with what happened. Similar things happen often. If you see someone out there, out of the blue, to just make it in life, things go so smooth for them, watch out. Check his associates. If he has associates or people he hangs out with, or if he has friends who have the same thing, things just work out just like that, and you find out that 3 years ago or a short while ago, you can't find anything about them, that's not from God. It's not from the Most High. So that means they did something paranormally to be where they are today. And you can see already that sooner or later some side effect is coming to haunt them. Why do you think that many celebrities or people that so-called made it in the world, they have their periods that they're out of public sight? They have their periods when nobody sees them anymore. Because those are the times when side effects haunt them, and they don't want you to see the side effects haunting them. So they disappear for a while, and then they appear again. Some political figures do this also. What I'm teaching you in this video is look at the context. Don't be distracted by the details. The details matter, but don't be distracted by them. Well, that's it for now. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.